Can you create a cinematic travel film using only AI? No camera, no shooting, nothing? I decided to actually try it. And everything you're seeing right now, the close-up shots, the aerial views, the motion, all of it is generated using Seedance 2.0 and Magnific's Cinematic Shots feature. And honestly, the results look surprisingly real. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built this, step by step, from setting up camera angles and choosing the right lenses, to generating consistent images and animating them with realistic camera movements like pan, zoom, crane, and aerial motion. And at the end, we'll compare Seedance 2.0 with Kling 3.0 side by side to see which one actually gives better cinematic results. Let's get into it. For this entire workflow, I'm using Magnific AI. If you want to follow along, you can find the tool linked in the description. We'll start with Magnific's Cinematic Shots feature, and this is where most of the magic happens. But a quick note before we dive in, I recorded this video when the tool was still called Freepik. Since then, they've officially rebranded and relaunched as Magnific. So throughout this video, wherever you see Freepik on screen, just know it's the same tool now called Magnific. The workflow is exactly the same. There are two ways to get to cinematic shots. First option, go to the home screen and you'll see it directly in the top menu. Second option, go into the image generator, look at the header section, and you'll find it there too. Both paths take you to the same place. So just go with whichever feels easier. Once you open it, you'll see two main sections, camera and references. Let's start with camera. Inside camera, you get 4 controls: camera, lens, focal length, and aperture. If you're just getting started, you can leave everything on standard and the system handles it automatically. But if you want more control over the final look, you can dial these in manually. Here's a quick breakdown of what each one does. Camera defines the overall visual style. Lens affects how the scene is rendered. Focal length controls how wide or zoomed your shot feels. And aperture controls how much background blur you get. That's all you need to understand to get started. Now let's move to the references section. Let's say we're building a cinematic travel video. We'll need multiple types of shots: a wide shot, a close-up, a POV, maybe a drone-style aerial. This is exactly where Cinematic Shots gets powerful. Click on character. You'll see a lot of presets already there. You can use those if you want, but I'm going to upload my own character to keep things consistent with my content. Along with that, I'll also upload my riding gear, the helmet, and the bike image. So now we've got 3 reference elements added: the character, the helmet, and the bike. These act as anchors for the AI. They help keep your subject consistent across every shot. Before generating anything, click Add again and go to Shot Type. This is honestly one of my favorite parts of the entire tool. You'll see a bunch of ready-made presets for different camera angles: extreme close-up front, extreme close-up at 45 degrees, close-up, long shot, back shot, POV, and more. What this does is tell the AI exactly how to frame your subject, which takes a lot of guesswork out of the process. For the first shot, I'll go with close-up front. Select it, add it, and move on. Click Add again and go to Film Stock. This controls the overall color grading of your output: warm, fine grain, soft warm, black and white, and more. I'll go with saturated film because it gives a punchy cinematic feel. Then add movie look. This section is really powerful. It lets you define the overall vibe of your video. You've got options like horror, cold tone, sci-fi, old historical feel, and more. For this video, I'll go with saturated pop culture to keep things visually bold and modern. And there's also a lighting setting worth exploring, especially if you're doing product style shots. It lets you control how the subject is lit, which can really elevate the final image. Definitely worth experimenting with on your own. Alright, now let's set the camera for our first shot. Since it's a close-up of me adjusting my helmet before a ride, I want it to feel focused and cinematic. I'll set the camera to Cinema Digital 35mm, choose Prime Lens Classic, set the focal length to 85mm, and keep the aperture around f1.8 to f1.4. That gives a nice blurred background with the subject in sharp focus. Then hit continue. After that, press that to tag your main character. Type wearing, then press that again to add the helmet reference. I'll also tag the bike, then complete the full prompt. I'll switch the format to widescreen and keep resolution at 1K for now. If the image comes out well, we can upscale later without losing anything. And within a minute, just look at that. The close-up is clean, the subject is sharp, and the framing feels genuinely cinematic. Really happy with how this one came out. For the second shot, I'll paste a new prompt. Keep the camera and lens the same for consistency, but increase the focal length to 135mm for a tighter, more compressed look. Aperture stays at f1.4. Then, under shot type, I'll switch to extreme close-up at 45 degrees. One thing to keep consistent across every shot: film stock and movie look. Don't change these between shots. Keeping them locked is what gives your entire sequence a cohesive, unified look. That's the difference between a polished cinematic sequence and something that feels patched together. I went ahead and generated around 7 to 8 shots total. wide shots, close-ups, 45-degree angles, even an aerial style frame, just by changing the camera settings, focal length, aperture, and shot type each time. The results across all of them were really solid. The fact that you can build a full cinematic sequence without ever picking up a camera is still kind of wild to me. Now comes the part I was most excited about. We're going to take all these images and animate them using Seedance 2.0. Select the first image and click Create Video. Inside the video generator, switch the model to Seedance 2.0. Keep an eye on your credit usage here. Video generation eats through credits faster than image generation. Click on Motion. This is where things really open up. You get a full set of camera movement presets: pan, zoom, crane, aerial, and more. The right motion choice here is what makes a clip feel cinematic versus just moving. It matters more than most people realize. Since our first shot is a close-up front, I'll use pan left. I'll add a simple video prompt, nothing complicated. Duration set to 4 seconds, which is a clean length for short cinematic clips. I'll start at a lower quality setting too. Same logic as before. If it looks good, upscale. No point burning credits on a draft. Make sure the audio option is turned on, then generate. Video processing takes around 4 to 5 minutes. So while that's running, let's start the second clip. For this one, I'll use a zoom in motion to add variation. New prompt, generate, done. The rest of the shots follow the exact same process. Change the motion preset, adjust the prompt slightly if needed, generate. That's the whole workflow. No complicated steps. Alright, now for the comparison. I took the same images and animated them using Kling 3.0 as well, so we can look at both side by side. On the left, Seedance 2.0. On the right, Kling 3.0. Take a moment, actually watch them, and see what you notice. After testing both models side by side, honestly, both are really impressive. Kling 3.0 feels slightly smoother in some wide cinematic shots, while Seedance 2.0 performs better in close-up motion and especially audio quality. The sound design feels more natural and polished overall. So if I had to choose one for cinematic storytelling, I'd probably lean slightly towards Seedance 2.0. Also, quick tip, try using both a start frame and end frame while generating videos. It gives the AI much better motion control and usually improves the final result a lot. So that's the complete workflow. If you want to try this workflow yourself, you can check out the tool in the description. And if you're into AI filmmaking, creators, or cinematic content, make sure to subscribe because I'll be sharing more advanced workflows like this.